Welcome to another exciting episode of the Entreprenudist Podcast, the place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. And today is no different. Definitely have a entrepreneur, a business owner on the podcast today. Before we bring them up, I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you today by Shield Wolf Strongholds, a wealth growth and protection company when it comes to estate planning, when it comes to retirement planning, when it comes to employee benefits, when it comes to life insurance. If your plan ain't Shield Wolf, your plan ain't strong. If you are a business owner that wants you and your employees to retire higher than you would have prior, make sure you visit shieldwolfstrong.com or call or text 904-822-4262. Now to our guests. Rodney Black is a husband, a father of three, and a leader driven by purpose. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, and raised in a small town with a farm ranch background, Rodney learned early the value of hard work, discipline, and faith, lessons that became the foundation for everything he's built today. As co-founder of the Riser Crew and owner of Your Service Store, Inc., Rodney has made it his mission to help people and businesses rise from the ashes and become the best version of themselves. With more than 32 years experience in the specialty protein industry through the meat brokerage, he has built a trusted reputation for excellence, integrity, and long-term partnerships. Through Your Service Store, Rodney also leads initiatives in systems management, helping businesses and individuals improve their operations and efficiency. And the Blue Firm, a marketing and strategy group focused on helping small businesses strengthen their brand and expand their reach. At the heart of everything he does, the Riser Crew, a movement founded on the belief that transformation happens through balance and growth in 5 key areas: health, which is exercise and nutrition; mindset and knowledge; creativity and personal branding; money and wealth; and celebration and culture. Rodney's story and message are simple but powerful. No matter where you start, what you faced, or how many times you've been knocked down, you can rise again. His work and leadership continue to inspire others to live with purpose, lead with heart, and build lives that truly rise. Rodney Black, welcome to the Entreprenudist Podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Randolph. It's good to be here, and I'm hoping I can bring some value to people. Who knows? We'll see. That's the goal, right?
I don't know yet. We'll see. One of my favorite quotes, whenever you bring on somebody new, and whether it, a lot of, I'm from the sales industry, so it especially is applicable when it comes to sales. But you know how you bring on somebody new and they so ambitious and they're so eager to go and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. One of our favorite things to say to each other when the person walks out the room: we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see if you stick. Yeah.
We'll see. All right. And not even when they walk out the room, it's good to, transparently, we will see. Is there nothing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Oh, gosh, man. There's tons that I know now that I wish I would have known when I first started. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess when it comes to what I do now professionally, one thing I do realize is that consistent, proper communication and an understanding that conversation with people is probably one of the most important things that you can do throughout any business, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's me selling meat or me helping people find an avenue for personal growth, or a vehicle. If you can communicate with people and you learn how to communicate with people, and if you realize that everybody communicates a little bit differently, not only verbally, but with different types of tools. Some people prefer text, some people prefer messages, some people prefer emails. And then when you get them from that point to a verbal conversation, sometimes they want to have a quick conversation. Sometimes they want to have a long conversation. And if you got to be able to to determine what type of person you're talking to. So learning how to have conversations, engaging conversations with all the different types of personalities in what we do, is I think is key.
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely.
One thing that I wish I knew then that I know now, because it would have completely changed the dynamic of everything that I do, for sure. Or expedited it, I should say.
Oh yeah, being able to realize and adapt to people's communication style. One of my favorite quotes is the highest form of compensation is communication. And you can look at that on almost every industry. When you look and everybody can have their own personal beliefs when it comes to this, but this is reality. Typically, who gets paid the least in a sales process? Usually the person doing the work. A lot of times, I assist a lot of people in construction, and a lot of times I know that the person, like, let's say if they were putting on a roof, I know that a lot of times the person that's actually putting the nail into the shingle, into the decking, probably made the least per hour or per value result than everybody in that chain. The business owner made more, the salesman probably made more, right? But the person who is a salesman is the communicator, communicates between the prospect and the business owner. The business owner is this communicator, communicating between the different vendors, the different service providers, the different insurance companies, the different permits peoples. So there is a arguable reason why the communicator is making more than the laborer, but the communicator does make more in every instance. And it sounds like what you're saying is, if you knew how to adapt your communication sooner than later, then it would have turned into dollars.
Exactly. Right. Absolutely. And being able to not only being able to adapt your communication, but know how to utilize other people's communication skills to get your information across, right? And that's a key. I think that's a key element in what I do in every different business that I'm working with. So just using that skill set.
Oh yeah, innovation is in the team, and it's funny how I don't know if are you into golf at all?
I'm not, but I'm kind of envious of those who are, because I feel like I want to go spend time doing it someday. But I'm like, man, right now I've just I can't seem to hang up that work hat long enough to go out there and do it. So,
hey man, whenever you're in Jacksonville, we can go just hit aimlessly whenever you want to, man. That's something that I'm getting into, and the reason why I brought it up is I noticed that a lot of people who've made a lot of notoriety and a lot of money during teamwork are shifting to forcing themselves to do something individually like golf. And then when you ask them, they'll tell you this is the hardest sport that I've ever played, right? And vice versa, the people who've never made a significant amount of money working as a team, they believe that, they work better alone. Actuality, in my opinion, nobody works better alone. There's innovation in the team, and it takes teamwork. It's funny how coincidentally they're going the opposite way, whereas the people who've learned and utilized teamwork are shifting to individual sports. The people who are doing things individually, whether it's a sport or a business, they're starting to learn more about team and communicating with getting other people to communicate. Have you always been a proponent for team, or is that a relatively new?
I would say it's relatively new since 2000 and probably 2010. I like my bio said, I grew up on a farm from the time I was a preteen to the time I graduated high school. Kind of got thrown into it and didn't want to be there, right? And didn't want to be there at all because we didn't own it. I worked from 3 a.m. to before school started. I went to school, got out on the work program, worked from about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. to 6 or 7 o'clock every day. And Saturday and Sunday, it was all day long, every day. 1 week of vacation a year, and the rest of the time was work. So it was, for me, it was all what I personally had to do to accomplish my day and to get things done. And there really wasn't a team effort. Yeah, there were other people there working, but I wasn't trying to work with them per se, and unless somebody was helping me feed cattle or something, and it was just the two of us. But for the most part, it was always a self-driven thing, and that's all I focused on. Leaving there after high school, I went to work in a meat plant, and still at that point, it was still, what do I need to get accomplished to get my 9 to 5 done throughout the day that I needed to focus on? I wasn't worried about what everybody else was doing per se and how to make their lives better or help them, even though I was a systematic person, helping them with systems that ultimately did make their lives better, but I wasn't focused on the team aspect. It wasn't until I was introduced to the direct sales industry in 2007, and even in 2007, after I was introduced to it, it took me a few years to realize how important the aspect of doing something with a team. I mean, most people overlook it, but you can do if you're a business owner and you own a business, no matter what it is, if it's conventional, traditional, direct sales, whatever it is, your focus should be team driven. You should rely on a team. You should make everybody feel like they're part of the team. Even if you're the owner, they should feel like they're part of your team and vice versa. And what happens when you start to do things that way, in my opinion, is everybody starts to feel elevated. And it's not just about you, and they start to feel it's about them, and it becomes a whole team culture, and they start to realize that their role is equally as important as everybody else's. And that's why I came up with the Riser crew and co-founded it, because it's a crew. It's not just one person that has all the skill sets. It's a group of people that have a variety of skill sets. And if John doesn't know what he's doing, he can go ask Joe, and Joe will for sure have that skill set. So it's kind of I love that aspect of team, of having teams. That's kind of a long way to answer your question, but maybe that'll get it.
Hey man, we're on a podcast. I encourage you to take as long as you want. On a 30-minute podcast, I want them to be like, dang, Rodney talked for 20 minutes and Randolph talked for 10. Like that. That'll be a perfect podcast for me. Innovation is definitely in the team, and a lot of people don't realize what gets measured gets better. That's just a fact. But what gets measured and reported gets exponentially better, and that's what working with a team does. So, there are different types of teams, right? You got teams that wear football jerseys, and you got teams that wear button-down dinky shirts. So speaking of different type of teams, what are some of the opinionated viewpoints when it comes to direct sales or network marketing? Are they interchangeable or are they not?
They are. I mean, direct sales and network marketing, or what some people would call multi-level marketing, or relationship marketing. It's all they're all the same, and you have a variety of viewpoints out there in the world, and that's what's interesting to me is over the years. Because I guess, let me back up. I feel like I might have been sheltered from that mindset for a long time, because until it was introduced to me, I never really knew what it was, right? I might have heard from a distance, like, John, so-and-so over here, his wife sells Mary Kay, and I'm like, oh, great for her. Or his mom sells Tupperware, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I don't know what that is. I know it's a plastic dish, and I know it's makeup. That's all I know. I mean, if you'd have told me the structure of the business model, I would have been like, okay, well, cool. That sounds neat. And then once I understood marketing, working for multiple companies that did national marketing, I started to understand marketing really well. So I was able to start a direct sales business with an understanding of marketing and the various channels of marketing. whether it's TV commercials, billboards, or radio, sponsorships, or door-to-door advertising, or flip flyers, or knockers, or mailers, or celebrity sponsorships. And then you got the person-to-person. That's a form of marketing, right? And most people frown upon that because they think if you go build a team of people in direct sales that you're getting paid off the sweat in the back of someone else, but that's not the case. It's a team effort, and if you help them rise, you're going to get better yourself as long as you do what's required of you. So it is definitely a perception and a mindset thing that is, if the average person would just allow themselves to understand the model and how it works compared to traditional advertising and marketing, they would supersede their knowledge, their understanding of it would just flip. But they won't, because of what's that old word? People's opinions, the stigma. The stigma. Mm-hmm. That's the word I'm looking for. There's a stigma, and until someone allows themselves to open up their mind and pay attention, they're stuck with it. So.
Oh yeah. If you don't know yet, you're gonna know soon. I'm full of quotes, right? And another one of my favorite quotes is, "We're all self-made, but only the successful will admit it." We're all self-made, but only the successful will admit it. And what that means is, whatever position you find yourself in life, you were a contributor to that position that you're in. Not even just a contributor, you are the primary contributor to the position that you're in. And a lot of people, I think that stigma might have originated because the earliest that I ever heard of, quote unquote, multi-level marketing or direct sales or network marketing, whatever you call it, the earliest I ever heard of it was just as you said, you have this product, seemingly nobody really knows about the product. You ask them about the product, they might speak maybe a few seconds about it, but it gets back. But if you bring this person, you make money, right? And then, of course, a lot of times in those situations, it didn't work out. And in my opinion, because just like you're saying, I'm somebody who's worked in all levels of business, and I know that everything is a form of network marketing. These people have different ways of getting out. All right, we're not spending all this money on these Super Bowl commercials, so we're able to give you a better deal, but it's still a form of marketing. And what I discovered is a lot of times people prefer to go for the opportunities that don't seem like work.
Right.
And what ends up happening, this product that you never asked about, you never asked for the details of it. You never asked, how does this work? Who is it for? All you were interested in is, how do I bring on more people to make more money? Usually, in my opinion, those are the people that run into the issues, but I've never actually been on the inside. Is that your observation too, or no?
Oh, absolutely. So, you kind of nailed it. Even without being on the inside, you've got a pretty good perspective, because what I have found is the people that show up to something thinking that it's a get rich quick deal, or it's it's easy. And the minute they recognize that you have to put on overalls and show up to work, right? They're like, oh, I thought that I was just going to be able to, scratch and sniff the lottery ticket and I was going to make some money. No, it doesn't work that way. We have to put work in. We have to talk to people. We have to create engaging conversations. We have to bring value to people. And a lot of those businesses, there are no value. There's no true value. They're just selling it's great. It's wonderful to sell a dream, because we have to sell the dream, right? But if you sell the dream and then you don't have any substance to back it up, then that's kind of what you're talking about. People sell the dream all the time, but okay, what's that? Great. Then tomorrow you're going to wake up and realize that, hey, there's nothing here to work on. All it was a dream, right? And but when you bring substance to that and you say, look, what I got and what I offer people will financially change their lives, or give them or make their lives better, simpler, and give them something that's tangible. It's not just a, quote, quote, something, whatever that may mean.
Something tangible, something that you can touch. And speaking on making something tangible, making something you can touch, it means going from idea to action, right? A lot of people like to say knowledge is power. No, that's not true. Knowledge is only potential power. Applied knowledge is power. So,
That's right.
In your opinion, how does someone go from stagnant decision-making process as a business owner and individual? How do you transition from that?
Wow. That's a great point. And that's one of with our Riser crew, the Riser Club, one of the things that we help people focus on, because there's like 5 elements, you mentioned them a while ago. One of them is knowledge and mindset. We talk all the time. I'm like, you can have knowledge from 10,000 hours of going to college on how to make money, right? But if your mindset is that money is evil, you're probably never going to make any money. And if you do, it's going to be limited because your mindset's going to constantly be saying, yeah, you're going to end up getting rich and you're going to be with the crowd of people that's, got the money playing golf every day, right? So if your mindset's there, then if your mindset's not right, you're going to have as much knowledge as is necessary to go accomplish whatever it is you want, but you're not going to do it because you think about it wrong. So that's, I think that answered your question. Maybe, I don't know, but
no, it sounds like what you're saying is in order to go from stagnant decision making, you have to first change your relationship with what money means. You can have all of the step by step on how to make money, make babies, is like I like to say. You can have all of the step by step, but if your relationship is that it's ultimately evil, then it's not going to work out for you.
Right. If that's your perspective and your opinion of creating a large amount of income or becoming wealthy, then you can have all the knowledge of the how to do it. You just probably won't do it. And it's vice versa too. You can have the mindset right, but if you don't have the knowledge, you can think money's sweet and wonderful and you want a whole lot of it, but you don't know how to make it, then it doesn't really matter. So
and I'm tracing us all back. The mindset and the knowledge can all come from the right team.
Yes.
And if a lot of people say this, they say if you hang around 5 millionaires, you will become the 6th. And it's one of those things where it seems kind of corny, right? And then depending on how you think, you might imagine, all right, let me just sit in the back seat with these 5 millionaires, and then all of a sudden I'm going to look into my account and there's going to be $1 million. Actually, what ends up happening is you hanging out with these millionaires, and all of a sudden an opportunity comes up,
right?
And it's obvious to the right mindset. If you're around these multi-millionaires and that opportunity comes up, depending on how you think about the money, will determine if you're able to take hold of that. And if you're able to take hold of it, if you're able to make that money. One of my favorite speakers, a guy by the name of Jim Rohn, said his mentor told him, say, hey, I want you to make $1 million. And when you make $1 million, I don't care what you do with it. You can give it all away. You could throw it against the wall if you want to. I want you to make $1 million because of the man that you have to become to make $1 million. Right. And that's, that's really just like you said, that mindset, because what I got from what Jim Rohn was saying that his mentor shared with him is that million didn't matter until he became the man that was worthy and had the right mindset of getting that million.
Yep. That's true. Because you could win the lottery, but if your mindset about money's not right, you're going to spend it all and lose it anyways. So,
now,
that is fact.
It is fact. One of the age-old questions: health versus wealth. Because we've been talking about, how communication is the highest form of compensation, and aligning yourself with the right people. But if your health isn't on point, it don't matter how much money you got. The wealthiest man in the world will give his last penny just to live one more day. What's your opinion on healthcare in America?
Oh, well, healthcare. You're right. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You're not going to enjoy it, and you probably won't live long enough. You probably won't live long enough to enjoy it. But as far as healthcare as the topic goes, if somebody should be concerned about a racket or a scam, as you want to, as people want to say, especially in the direct sales industry, they might want to start looking down the insurance aisle, the health insurance aisle, because man, profits they're up there. And, these people are getting rich. There's for sure. I don't know that maybe their mindset's right. Maybe their mindset's not right. Maybe it's one or two people that just, who knows? But knowledge, or the health insurance or health industry right now is I think it's at a pinnacle point. I think everybody knows that. And I think a lot of people that are shopping for healthcare right now, they really just don't know what to do. And a lot of them don't even understand it, right? They don't understand when they go to purchase their healthcare. They don't even know what they're looking at for the most part. They don't understand deductibles. They don't understand co-shares. They don't understand co-pays. They understand some basic stuff, but they don't understand what coverage they got, what they need, what they go blindly into it thinking the lowest premium that I can get is going to, keep me, keep me healthy. But that's not going to get them the greatest healthcare that they need. But at the same side of it, right now, with the way insurance is, even the most highest premiums that you pay every month may not get you the best health care because it's so inflated with profits. I have Alexa talking to me in the background. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's all good. It sounds like Alexa is passionate about the topic as well. Because it sounds like what you're saying, a lot of people correlate the cost of premium related to the value of the care. But it seems like you're saying that's not necessarily cause versus effect.
That's true. There are alternatives out there, and one of them I represent, and I don't want to go into details on here, but that are nonprofit. And to be honest, healthcare probably should be a nonprofit because it's one of those things that needs to go back the way it was years and years and years ago when it was first thought of, how to take care of everyone, right? And what they say, it's the village. It's about the village and about the community. And when it comes to healthcare, that's key. We always want to help the sickest in the community. And for the most part, healthcare kind of got away from that, traditional insurance. So my opinion, I'm very opinionated on that. I could go on that subject for hours, Randolph, for sure.
Is there no solution in sight?
There are solutions. The thing about it is, again, people have to shift their mindset, right? There are solutions. We have a solution. And people have to get over that, what was the word that I used a while ago? That stigma, that perception that traditional insurance is the only way. It's not the only way. I think people believe that insurance is what saves them. It's not. The doctor's what saves you. He just wants to get paid. He doesn't care how you pay him. He just wants to get paid. And traditional insurance is so inflated that the doctors are now starting to realize, hey, maybe there are other alternatives. You just got to get the consumer that's using the service to realize it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know something that when you let us know that you were available to speak on the podcast, you did mention the value in never putting all of your eggs in one basket. And I do know one of the things that you're connected with, Impact Health Sharing with ACN, they seem to have a solution in mind. Is there nothing that you can share about how Impact Health Sharing works?
Oh, yeah, I can go into specifics. I'm not the expert in the field, of course, but I know enough to help someone get the right person on a phone call. And that's kind of what we do with that. We're referral agents per se. So we have a direct line with a Impact, who's based in Florida, by the way, to get them on with someone that works for Impact to get them the information that they need to see if it's a fit for them. But I personally switched and saved $800 a month as an entrepreneur being self-employed and got better coverage. I have a 90-10 coverage, right? And my monthly cost, again, is $800 less than what I was paying in 2021 with one of the bigger insurance brands, right? And again, we're not insurance, we're health sharing, right? Which is the way it was intended years ago. But we're not specific to any certain religion. We're just anybody can use the service. And it's amazing because we have what we call the wellness rewards, right? So I go to massage therapy, and that massage therapist, that cost of going every month gets taken off of my what we call a PRA, right? Primary responsibility amount. So ultimately, I've got to have a shoulder surgery before October, before my annual renewal. And by me going and spending money at a massage therapist, I'm going to lower the cost of the surgery. Insurance doesn't do that. Traditional insurance, or going and getting acupuncture or any other holistic approaches to health, right? Doesn't lower your cost. So it's all about trying to help people become healthier and rewarding them for doing so. Kind of like your car insurance rewards you for being a safe driver. Impact rewards its customers for being healthy. Their members.
Mm-hmm. And I notice and appreciate that you're being very careful and deliberate with your words, making sure you're letting people know, hey, I'm talking about my personal experiences. And yes, I have benefited from these personal experiences personally, but if you want to see if you can also have these same benefits, reach out to me and then I can connect you. And a lot of people look at that as, you're connecting me. Then you're not the person I need to speak with. Well, your modem connects you to the internet.
Right. Right.
Where would you be without your modem? Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have a connector to put you to, first of all, let you know that these things exist. And then once you know something exists, you see it everywhere. I remember when my sister, when she first turned 16, a lot of people don't have the benefit of getting a car when they first turn 16. Some people do, and some people get the car that they always wanted, and some people have to get a starter car. My sister was the latter. Yeah, she was the latter, right? And I remember her first car was a 1989 Dodge Shadow. And she wore her heart on her sleeve. You could tell, and keep in mind, this was in the late 90s, almost 2000, that she got this 1989 Dodge Shadow, and you could see in her face that it was not her favorite car, right? And I remember that day, I had never saw that car a day in my life, but then after I saw that car, I started seeing it everywhere. Once you know something exists, you start seeing it everywhere, right?
Right.
So it takes people like you, Rodney, I think, to the first make people know that something exists. But then once they know it exists, they start seeing it everywhere. And what do people do when they learn something that should be beneficial to them? They make what's called a New Year's resolution. And we're right here. This is an evergreen podcast. People are going to be listening to this podcast for years and decades to come. But as of right now, we are in December of the year. And this is where all the New Year's resolutions come. In your opinion, what's the difference between a New Year's resolution and a end of year solution?
That's a great one. So my team and I, the Risers, we have a lot of slogans, and one of them is in a world full of starters, be a finisher. Right. And what we try to encourage people to do is, instead of falling in the crowd with all the other people that get a gym membership for 2 weeks at the beginning of the year and then you don't ever see them again, why don't you start that in December 1st, and create an end of the year solution instead of a New Year's resolution that tells you, look, I'm going to finish what I started. Here's what I'm beginning, that I'm beginning it at the hardest possible time that I can do it. In the middle of the holidays, when everybody's eating a lot, all those things, everything's in the way. Everything's in the way of going and accomplishing your goals or setting new goals or eating right or doing whatever. December is one of the hardest things to do because you're so focused on the Christmas pies and the Christmas turkey and opening gifts and going here and going there. Fitting something into your schedule that's a challenge is hard for people to do. So they're like, no, I ain't gonna do it in December. Let me wait till January when all I got to worry about is paying off the credit card, right? That'll drive me. That'll make me go do it. No, it won't. Because everybody's a starter until they realize, oh, there's that work again. Huh. Guess what? It's always there. It's just when you want to do it.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow never comes. Right. That's what they say. Tomorrow never comes. And even when you think about it, right? One of my favorite quantum physicists, how many times have you heard that before? One of my favorite quantum physicists is Albert Einstein. And one thing that he says is that the past, the present, and the future are literally all happening simultaneously. Yes. And that's very hard to believe. But even if that isn't literally true, it's metaphorically true. The only thing that we know for certain that actually is happening is now. The past never existed. The future does not exist. It's up to you to take what shaped you in the person today, and that story that you're telling yourself, change that story to make you a better person today, and that better person today will make you an even better person tomorrow. But if you always put it off getting started to tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. And it seems like you and the Riser crew have a very healthy relationship with getting things going. Now, that said, being that you're such a proponent for the team, I know that you've encountered this. Some people might be saying, well, Rodney, it sounds good, but I mean, I always have the best ideas and I get it started, but I don't finish it. For that person, there's a person that exists, probably somebody you already know that never has any good ideas, but they know how to finish it. That person that never has good ideas, and those people exist, right? There are people in this world that they are the most efficient, task-oriented, dot I, cross T, but they don't have an idea to get going. They need people like you that have an idea and start, so they can take that idea and finish it. But it's up to you to get in that team. Gino Wickman, the author of Traction, calls it the visionary and the integrator, right? In your crew, how effective has it been working with people who start, collaborating with people who finish, and where do you fall in that category?
Wow, it's a good one. The percentage of finishers that come into stuff that we do, let me rephrase it. The percentage of starters is probably 90% versus 10% who are finishers. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you can't force anyone to change, but you can show them a way. And what I've realized is, if they have the track to run on, but then they have somebody to run on the track with them, figuratively speaking, of course, right? I'm not talking about physically running down a track. You could be, but I'm talking about the whole enchilada of everything that we do. If you have somebody actually doing it with them, it changes things, right? We don't just say, hey, go do this. We say, here we go. Almost like a coach would for a workout routine, but we do more than just exercising and things of that nature. We do a whole gamut of different things, and we do it for a 21-day period at the end of the year. And we're looking for people who have great ideas, who want to be able to finish those great ideas. And then we help them or start them and finish them, but we help them adjust their mindset, gain the knowledge, and all of those other elements that will help them become more efficient in having their idea and finishing it. I guess that answers your question, I hope.
When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does. Now we talked about all the business stuff. What do you actually do for fun? You got all these things going on. You with the Riser Crew, you with ACN, you pushing meat around the world. Be careful how you put that in Google, right? But what do you do for fun?
One of the things that I do most of the time, and I'll probably do it here in a little while, is I cook out. I cook out almost every day. Some people wait for the weekend to cook out. I'm cooking out when there's ice and snow coming down typically. So I just do it, or I'm making something special in the kitchen. I like to cook. It's kind of my go-to. It's my downtime. It's the time for my mind to reset and think through things. And, I like to write. I used to write a lot. I don't do that nearly as much, but I used to journal and, just write different stuff and all kinds of different things. But the majority of what I do now is cooking. From being a meat guy, I have access to a lot of different unique cuts that, people are like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's this. And like, where's that come from? I'm like, it's in there. It has to be cut out, but it's good.
So speaking of, so it sounds like you're saying if I wanted some prime cuts of meat, I can reach out to you and you can have it, sent to my front doorstep? Is that how it works?
So I sell large volume, large quantities, truckload stuff, or 10, 15, 20,000 pounds. However, I know all the best of the best. So wherever, living in Jacksonville, I used to work for Hickory Foods or Bubba Burgers. I was with those guys for a stint back from 2005 to 2009. And they're on Roosevelt Boulevard. They're in Jacksonville. But
okay.
When it comes to frozen burgers, if you want to cook a burger and you're thinking, most people don't go buy frozen burgers at the grocery store, right? But their burger is made from, choice 2-piece boneless chucks. And it's got we have a special process in Georgia that they use. So if you want a good homemade burger that tastes like a homemade burger that's frozen, you can't beat it. I don't work for them anymore, but the product's amazing. So to answer your question, I know where to go get the best of the best. I can help you get it shipped to you. I won't make any money off of it because I'm not selling direct to consumer. I do with the direct sales business, but I don't in the meat brokerage. Does that make sense? Everybody I deal with is larger scale wholesalers, distributors, food service processors, bacon manufacturers, you name it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a question that I did not ask you that I should have?
You did ask me, you mentioned something about never put your eggs in one basket. So I believe that you can have a focus on something and be focus driven on one primary thing, and you got some people that say, no, you need to focus on one thing and one thing only, because then you'll get derailed. But I believe that old saying, a master of one is a master of none, but there's an extending piece of that most people don't know, right? A master of one is a master of, like, you'd have to Google it. I can't remember it, Randolph, but it's good. And so, I feel
like the jack of all trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades. Yeah. What's that? What's the full quote there? People get it wrong all the time. I see it being quoted all the time. Different speakers try to quote it and get it wrong.
They say a jack of all trades is the master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Right. But what's the rest of it?
I think that's the rest of it. They say a jack of all trades is the master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. I think is that the full quote that you're saying?
Is it? Oh, maybe.
I mean, but because
Anyway,
that's the longest. No, that's the longest I ever heard that quote. Because it seems like what that quote is saying, that because what I recall you bringing it up, you was basically saying a lot of people like to say focus on one thing. However, that quote that they use, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Basically saying, hey, yes, it's good to focus on one thing. However, if you do focus on a lot of things, by and large, on average, the master of more than one thing is better than a master of one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I believe that, when someone becomes a master of one and they're trying to build a business, so they never, let's just put it this way. They have a mindset of sales skills, right? They're a master salesperson, but they've never understood logistics, supply chain management, production, purchasing, receivables. They've kept themselves out of the picture, and here they go trying to build a business, and they're a great salesperson, but they've never dealt with any of the other avenues or areas that a business you need the understanding of. So therefore, they can't train anyone. So if they had that knowledge base, even if it wasn't their primary and sales were their primary, but they had a knowledge base of it, then they would be great at being able to pick the right people that they knew would have those skill sets to bring into that business to help them grow it, right? Or do it themselves, unfortunately. But that's my putting my eggs in one basket scenario is like that. I just try not to ever depend upon one source of income. I've got three, and I prefer streams of income versus other incomes. I like it just to flow. So that's my take. That's all I've got.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. It's funny how many correlations between money and water. You like your incomes to just flow. When you take a bunch of ones in the strip club, you're making it rain. All right. When you're able to get to your money whenever you want to, it's liquid. Right.
Yeah.
Money is called currency, the same as the currency and current of a water. It's amazing how many correlations to water that money has. And a lot of people like to say we're running out of water. I've been hearing that. I just turned 40 this month. I've been hearing that since I was single digits, and we haven't ran out of water yet. And money is just like water. Right. One last time, please let people know who you are, what do you do, and how they can get in touch.
So my name is Rodney Black. I'm a meat broker in Texas. I have multiple businesses, and one of them is the direct sales industry with services. And you can visit me at yourservicestore.com. It's my Facebook page, or feel free to shoot me a text. My cell number is 940-839-5688. It's good to be here, and glad to be on your show.
And I'm glad to have you. This has been another exciting episode of the Entreprenudist Podcast, the place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. Please, if you're listening to our voices, make sure you check the show notes to get more information on Rodney Black, as well as to see the video of our beautiful, handsome ebony and ivory faces. Once again, this is the Entreprenudist Podcast, the place to hear real entrepreneurs bear it all. Remember, always check for new episodes. And we coming to you multiple times a week with great entrepreneurs and business owners like Rodney Black. And until next time, don't play with it, stay with it until you make pay with it. This is the Entreprenudist Podcast signing off.